Hey guys, this is Torno. Today we're going to be talking about the best, or my choice for the best dinosaur commander for, a dinosaur tribal deck. Now, this is specifically going to be a dinosaur tribal deck built around, dinosaurs being your major thing. Obviously, there's, choices where there's decent commanders that are dinosaurs, but they're not necessarily going to be great at leading a dinosaur deck. They're really great commanders, but, they don't do too much for the rest of our deck or anything like that. You can bring some dinosaurs with them, but, there's other choices that are more suited towards a full dinosaur deck. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 choices here, and we're going to go through them one at a time. So the first one here is going to be Owen Grady and Blue Loyal Raptor. So these are going to be number 6. Personally, they look really good. They look very interesting. Being able to put the counters onto Blue with Owen, and then with Blue spreads them out. So any type of counter that Blue has onto her, she's going to give to every other dinosaur. So with Owen, you can put Menace, Trample, Reach, and Haste counters. So then all of those are going to be on all of your dinosaurs if you put it onto Blue, and then Blue spreads them out. Now, a couple of things that are interesting here is, one, they only get it when they enter the battlefield. Each other dinosaur you control enters the battlefield with a counter of that kind. So if you've got other dinosaurs out already and then you put the counter onto Blue, it doesn't spread out or anything like that unless you blink her in, but then she'd lose the counters. I don't know. There's not really a way to be able to do it. Blink the other, I guess if you blinked the other dinosaurs back in, you've got the Blue in here, which is a bit more unusual for a dinosaur deck. You're going more into like Temur instead of having, the white there. So you've got a few different options there instead, building more around the counter spells or something along those lines. You've also got to kind of, put more counters out onto Blue. You've only got, the Menace, Trample, Reach, or Haste ones here, but there are other things that can spread counters. Like, you could bring like Goldberry or something like that, and then Goldberry is able to move counters from everything onto Blue, and then Blue's going to be able to spread them out, which is really, really cool. There's lots of really great different builds that you're able to do here, which is something that I find interesting. I'd love to see what kind of decks people come up with for Blue and Owen. They're a little bit more on the expensive side because they're the Jurassic World collection ones. They're not in a pre-con or anything like that. You just got to be able to pull them or buy them separately. So there's lots of really interesting stuff here, and they would be a very interesting commander set for a dinosaur deck. But personally, I'm just like, you could do this, or you could do one of the other options, which I think would end up working out better. So the next one here we've got is Morophon. So this is going to be our number 5 option here. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, in which case I apologize. Morophon is a changeling. Enters the battlefield, you choose the creature types. Obviously, you choose dinosaurs, and then you've got everything. So you've got, every single color that you're able to bring here, which is the huge advantage there, being able to bring, all 5 colors. There's some really interesting, black dinosaurs, some really interesting white, blue, etc., etc. You've got lots of really great options there. So being able to bring along a lot of different dinosaurs to kind of suit every situation is really interesting. There's some really nice ones with the Rex set. So, not just Blue, like the Indoraptor or what's the other one? The Indominus Rex and stuff. You've got some really nice options there of being able to bring it in. Obviously, Morophon's going to allow you to be able to kind of cheat stuff out a bit cheaper, because you're going to have the cost reduction there, reducing the colored mana that you need to pay, which is really nice. You don't need to stress as much about your mana and stuff like that if you've got that there, which is really nice. And then just gives a blanket +1/+1 out there. So Morophon is a good choice, but in my opinion, not an interesting choice. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Personally, I like playing commanders or decks that are interesting to me. I don't find Morophon all that interesting unless you build the 99 really interesting, where you can, splash into a whole bunch of different things with it. Maybe you're going to go more like Graveyard Recursion with your dinosaurs or something along those lines. You could do some really cool stuff there. All right, number 4 here is going to be Waiter Trainer Prodigy. So she is one of the face commanders for the secondary commander in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Commander for this is Velociraptor. She is a very interesting card because her whole thing is how to train your dinos. You're going to get your dinos to fight together, and then they're going to activate both their enrage abilities, because it's here whenever a creature you control being dealt damage causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So you're able to just, generate out a whole bunch of +1/+1s, or, deal a whole bunch of damage or pings and stuff like that. There's lots of really cool stuff that Waiter is able to do, and I'm probably pronounced that wrong as well, sorry. But being able to just have your dinos fight against each other, all this cool stuff where you could bring something like the dummy that doesn't take damage or something along those lines, and just build around like a fighting deck built around dinosaurs with her. This is, the whole thing about it is, they cost 2 less if you activate and target 2 creatures you own to fight each other. So having a whole bunch of enraged dinos to kind of run alongside her is really interesting, and I'd love to see what people come up with there. All right, number 3 here is Atla Palani, Nest Tender. So the way that Atla works is basically you summon eggs, and then those eggs are defender tokens that you can use to defend, and then when the egg dies, you're going to reveal through cards in your deck until you reveal a creature card, and then you're going to put it onto the library. So you can combine this with the Palani's Tender or something along those lines, and just be able to summon eggs, because it's just whenever an egg you control dies. So if we, go in here and search up egg, I think if I search up egg token, you've got the Palani's Hatcher here too. So I think it's just these 2 here. The Palani's Hatcher, but Palani's Hatcher is going to allow you to summon additional eggs too, gives your dinosaurs haste. But Palani kind of, summoning these eggs, and then you sacrifice them to essentially do a better version-ish of kind of Cascade is really cool. Unfortunately, you could hit something creature that you don't necessarily want out at the moment, and it's also you're not casting the card, as far as I'm aware. You're just putting the card onto the battlefield. So there's going to be some differences there where things are like whenever you cast a spell or something along those lines, you're not going to get those. So Palani is a very, very interesting one to me, at least, and it definitely deserves number 3 on the list. Number 2 here is Gishath, Sun's Avatar. It's very close between number 2 and number 1. Gishath is whenever you deal damage, you're going to reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You're going to put any number of dinosaur creature cards from among them onto the battlefield, so you get to, summon a whole bunch of dinos at once, and the rest on the battle movie deck. So the really cool thing about this is that, if you deal damage and you buff him up a bit, because, you've got some other dinos that are buffing up and stuff, you can potentially put up a lot of dinos out at once. Now, the reason that he's only number 2, in my opinion, now this is definitely my opinion, some people are going to put him as number 1, etc., is that he is very expensive, 8 cost here, and, prone to removal as well. There's no ward or anything like that, no protection or anything. You've got to kind of protect him yourself. So he's very cool, and I really like it. I really like the fact that, he's got haste there. You're going to be able to immediately get value out from him as long as you deal damage. You've also got the vigilance, so that way you're able to block with him. Big stat line and everything. You're going to be able to get a lot of really nice value out of him, and being able to get, dinosaurs. This is dinosaur centric. Now, number 1 here, we've got Pantlaza, Sun Favored. So this is the new face commander so this one's the actual face commander for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Velociraptor deck. So whenever him or another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may discover X, where X is the creature's toughness. So you're going to be able to go through and basically, Cascade, the better version of Cascade. You can either play it or put it into your hand. Now, one thing that people have talked about is the weakness here. Well, first of all, cost. Only 5 cost, not as bad. Decent stats, 4/4, going to be able to get rid of some of that removal. There's like 3, dealing 3 damage and stuff. But one of the people that was one of the things people were saying was the weakness here was you can only do this once. Now, I've played a fair bit with Pantlaza. This only once per turn is essentially a suggestion more than a more than an issue. It's something you can work around pretty easily because, one, you can play a dinosaur on someone else's turn. Boom. You can, blink Pantlaza out and back in. Boom. An additional trigger. You can get way more than one trigger on each turn. You can definitely get way more than one trigger on each round. You can get a lot of Pantlaza value out. And, the fact that she's only going to cost 5 is really nice. If you combine it with, the Prowl Commander, the Prowl Hunting Velociraptors. If this is going to bring it up, Hunting Velociraptors there. You've got the Prowl, which is really nice. You've got some really great options there of just being able to cheat out a lot of dinosaurs pretty cheaply. And then, you can do it on enemies' turns. You can do it whenever you like. There's, cards that allow you to be able to summon things on enemies' turns and stuff like that. You've got a lot of really great options there. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know down in the comments who your favorite dinosaur commanders are. Those are my top 6. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.